For some who lost loved ones in the wars of the 20th century, it will have very special memories. For most of us, it's a very necessary reminder of suffering and sacrifice by ordinary men and women in the interest of their nation and their nation's cherished values. We commemorate this unique event each year, and perhaps we should pause to ask, why? Why do we commemorate this? Why do we need to remember? One of the answers is that we commemorate this because we forget too soon. We forget the pain of moms and dads, brothers and sisters, widows and widowers who have lost loved ones in these countless and devastating wars. That's why even in small communities, they have memorial column. That's why Commonwealth countries like Canada wear poppies as a reminder so that each generation of men and women should not forget what was done on our behalf, lest we forget. It's probably easy enough to forget because countless wars are being waged in our time. It's commonplace. It's just happening. Some have been ongoing, some have never stopped. And I think that we're probably not really forgetting as that we've been putting it out of our minds. Because it's just easier to cope with life when we don't add to our daily living the reality of the death of children and women, the devastation of communities, the videos of cities on fire and the sounds of bombs dropping, and the pictures of bloody children being scurried into hospitals and ambulances. I'm so sick of it. My heart is broken by the images. We remember the innocent victims. War is not a selective force. War spares no one. There are no winners of war. Civilians, including women, children, and the elderly, often bear the brunt of the consequences of war. They are the innocent victims that are caught in the crossfire of conflict. These individuals deserve our acknowledgement and our remembrance. I think as well as those who serve in the military. Their lives are disrupted and their dreams are shattered, and they pay such a high price. These people, I think, deserve our recognition and for us to remember them too. While we're talking about this, we acknowledge the sacrifice of humanitarian aid workers and journalists. We deserve to regard them and to say thank you for their commitment to helping the vulnerable and for providing the world with essential information. Acknowledging their sacrifice inspires us to support humanitarian efforts and advocate for the safety of those who work in conflict zones. Since the war between Israel and Hamas from October 7th, A couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 36 journalists and media people have been killed. This is in addition to the nearly 10,000 folks in Gaza and the 1,000 people from Israel. From the Ukraine war, 17 people from the media have been killed and 2 aid workers, including one from Toronto, Anthony Tonko, Inhat, have been killed by Russian shelling. Acknowledging all who die due to war carries a powerful message. It reinforces our commitment to the pursuit of peace. And the suffering of war, regardless of its victims, should motivate us to seek peaceful solutions to conflicts, to promote diplomacy, and to work for a world where war is the last resort and not the first option. As people of goodwill, we are called to be peacemakers, to follow the teachings of Jesus, who proclaimed, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God." By acknowledging the sacrifice of all who die due to war, we renew our dedication to creating a world where peace and justice and reconciliation will prevail. Today, our hearts bleed once again for our siblings in parts of the world where there is active war. Let us remember that acknowledging all who die due to war is a solemn responsibility. We remember them all. Most of them we don't know. It allows us to honor the innocent victims, the civilians, the aid workers, the journalists who have paid the ultimate price of war. Remembering them underscores our commitment to a more peaceful world and encourages us to work tirelessly to prevent further suffering. And so, as we leave here today, may we carry a message of acknowledging all who died due to war, to carry them all in our hearts, to pray for their families, the mothers, the fathers who have watched their children being bombed in front of them, the children who no longer have moms and dads. Remembering them, acknowledging them, it inspires us to be advocates for peace, to work for the well-being of all humanity, and to ensure that the sacrifice of those affected by war is never forgotten. Civilians, aid workers, journalists, and certainly our brave men and women in uniform. We will not forget any of them, and we will not stop praying for any of them. Amen.